Good morning, learners of success and happiness. I'm very happy today to share with you the topic changing your life by changing your attitude and imagination. The attitude is everything. Resolve to have positive attitude and imagination in all situations. It's amazing that one can learn about another person's attitude by listening. Many who claim to have positive attitude reveal their true mindset once they start speaking. For example, Orrin Woodward said, "When mentoring, I like to start with, tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good we shall celebrate. The bad we will make adjustments, and the ugly we will pray about." What a person thinks is actually more important than the event, since the event only occurs when, but what he thinks about is replayed repeatedly in his mind and then shared with others. Painful experiences happen to all, but how people respond to them determines whether it propels them forward or knocks them backward. In this book, Attitude is Everything, Jeff Keller said on page 127, he said, "The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude, to me, is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than success, than what other people think or say or do. It's more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitude. We are the master of our thoughts. Failure, as a result, is less about the actual event and more about the story one tells himself about event. Positive and negative voice tell us each person has two voices inside his mind. The first, the positive voice, speaks all the good it can in each situation, seeing the world through a positive perspective. The second, the negative voice, speaks all the bad it can in each situation, seeing the world from a negative perspective. One cannot eliminate either voice entirely, but he can train himself to habitually turn to one or the other. Winners consistently turn up the positive voice while turning down the negative one, leading to positive perspective in life. In contrast, those who struggle with attitude reveal the process, turning up the negative voice and turning down the positive one. Thus, the reason most people struggle with negativity is because they naturally listen to the negative voice shouting at them, then, rather than the positive voice whispering. Winners and losers likewise both have ups and downs, but the stories they tell themselves and how they respond to are completely different depending upon which voice they listen to. Let's see the positive and negative tellers of our mind bank. In this book, Resolve, of Orrin Woodward, on page 74, said, in your mind bank, there are two tellers, both of whom are obedient to every command. One teller is positive and handles positive deposits and positive withdrawals. The other teller is negative and will accept all negative deposits and provide you with negative feedback. And he said, confront your positive teller, and he will enthusiastically tell you how you successfully dealt with far more difficult problems in the past. He will give you examples of your skill and genius and assure you that you can easily solve this problem. Both tellers are right, because whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. You are the one to choose the teller to deal with, either positive teller or negative teller. And remember, you cannot withdraw what you have not deposited. Reframing. The real question is, how does listening to positive voice change the situation? Consulting the positive voice, to be sure, doesn't change the facts, but it does radically change how a person feels about the experience. Viewing each situation through the positive voice is called reframing, and there are two methods of reframing. People can change either the content or the context of a situation by reframing how things about it. Robertson explained, content reframing is changing the meaning of behavior to help you see the good side and appreciate the otherwise unlovely character. Context reframing is finding a way to make an event or behavior to be represented in such a way that it would have value, no matter how negative you think it might be. Let me give you an example of an event which can happen to two different persons. Let's say, for instance, disappointments in a relationship. One can say, oh, my life is finished. I lose my love. And I'm finished. I can't get involved anymore in a relationship. And the life is finished. The guy is finished. Yet another one can say, no, this was not mine. God will give me the best. Waits, and he gets even better. So it's one event happening to two different persons, but the way they react to the event, to what happens to them, is totally different, and it gives completely different results. It can happen even in a business. One can fail the business and say, no, let me try again. Let me do this and this. Another one can say, oh, it's over. I failed, and he completely failed. It can happen even in a profession. If the job is determined, one can say, it's my time to look even a better job. Another one can say, I'm old enough, I can't get another job, and starts begging the next day. So you should see each and everything happens to you positively and in a positive way, and you will get positive results. The positive voice reframes each challenge into an empowering positive viewpoint, while the negative voice frames into a disempowering one. The secret to reframing is consult the positive voice teller immediately, seeing the event through a positive perspective to ensure the negative voice doesn't get momentum. Naturally, there will be times when a person hears his negative voice and must then root out the negative seeds planted into his thinking. Pulling negative weeds. People who listen to other people's negative voices are like horticulturists who allow others to sow weed seeds in their garden. Predictably, the seeds germinate in the garden just the way negativity germinates in the mind. The weeds are negative viewpoint growing in person's thinking, taking up space and blocking out positive thinking. Why can't you say busy when negative things come? Say always busy, that your mind is busy. Don't have time for the negative thinking. These negative thoughts fall into a person's mental garden and, if not pulled immediately, begin to take root. Don't provide fertile soil for mental weeds. Don't allow weed seeds to grow in the heart. And finally, do not allow the negative seeds to spray out into the negative communication with others. For then, the negative not handled inside will spread out, becoming a carrier of negativity that further infects self and others. Weeds growing in person thinking are a sure sign that a person is heeding his negative voice. The only known cure is for a person to take responsibility for his attitude and turn from the negative voice to the positive one, weeding his mental garden so he can return to a positive carrier of weeds. A weed-free mental garden is the responsibility of each person who desired to make a positive impact. Regrettably, however, most people just accept whatever seeds fly into their garden rather than selecting them carefully to get the best seeds. Various media sources, radio, television, social networks, and colleagues consistently bombard people with weed seeds that hinder the growth of positive fruits. Most people have no idea of the damage negative thoughts have on a positive attitude. Indeed, unless a person controls the thoughts allowed to take root in his mind, he has surrounded his destiny to the seeds others cast rather than selecting the seeds that move him towards his purpose. Winners has positive attitude by choice, not by chance. Let me repeat this. Winners have positive attitude by choice, not by chance. Since attitude in life determines the altitude it can reach, one must assume responsibility to nurture his mind garden daily while nurturing the fruit producing attitude. Curiously, human nature reveals it is easier to have strength thinking than positive thinking, just as weeds grow more easily than fruit in garden. Winners cannot change human nature, but they can learn to work with it to produce good fruits. Winners focus on solutions, not on problems. Winners focus on solutions, not the problems. Challenges, negative people call them problems, are given, but solutions are choice. Pull the weeds in your mind and protect the heart, for out of abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. Long-term versus short-term perspectives. When negativity speeds into the heart, it negatively colors all future events. Ironically, the very issues that failures use to justify losing are catalysts that winners use to grow. This is why winners consistently remind themselves that it isn't what happens to them, but it's how they handle it. Sometimes people nurture a negative attitude by worrying about things that may happen, even though many times they don't happen. Winners view obstacles as blessings in disguise and use them to strengthen proper thinking. Winners may not know the future, but they know The proper course is to reframe the events, maintain a positive attitude in every situation to make the best of everything they experience. Worries, by contrast, steal the joy from the life by focusing on fears rather than dreams. Worrying is like dreaming, imagining the future, expect from a negative viewpoint instead of positive one. Imagine the improvement in attitude. If possible, learn to turn each challenge into opportunity, seeing the positive instead of pitfalls. Attitude maintains hope and joy even if the plan is delayed and meets the unexpected obstacles. Achievement-oriented people do not associate with negative voices for long. Either they change the person to positive voice or they change association. Please, from today, if you cannot change the negative people you are with, please change the association. Let's see the Woodin's 3 principles on attitude. Never whine, never complain, never make excuse. Whining, complaining, and making excuse mark the sure road to losing, and no winner can follow it for long. Never whine. Whiners don't win, and winners don't whine. When a person responds to any situation by whining, it's a sure sign his negative voice is in command. Whiners ask, why is this happen to me? When they ask a bad question, they get bad answer. Instead of asking, what can I learn from this? Only the positive voice can ask and answer the question. Leaders don't search for sympathy from the negative voice. They search for solutions from the positive ones. When going gets tough, the tough get going. I like this. When going get tough, the tough get going. This is the difference between winners and whiners. A person's leadership level is measured by the level of challenges he can endure and still maintain his positive attitude. Never complain. The second principle, never complain, is a deeper level of mental infection. By complaining about others, a person feels less responsible for fixing his problems. Failures spend the rest of their lives complaining about the bad luck that led to their failure, unwillingly to admit they created it by their bad thinking. Wrong attitudes lead to wrong beliefs, wrong actions, and hence wrong results. Men fail by not even trying. No wonder all true change begins with change in a person's perspective. It's a lack of attitude, not the lack of talent, that leads to the vast majority of failures. Leaders address issues head-on, seeking resolution, not avoidance. The no complaining is a leadership killer. Complaining is a leadership killer. Complaining leads to bitterness and resentment, while changing leads to joy and thankfulness. Orrin Woodward said, I believe the best way to turn the positive voice and turn down the negative voice is a regimen of reading books, listening to audios, associating with top achievers, and acting towards one's goal and purpose. Before long, you will come to teach the teacher, sharing a powerful success story with the next generation, hungry of learning. Never make excuse. This leads to Woodin's third principle, never make excuse. never make excuse. Leaders accept responsibility. Hence, if a person is making excuse, then it's not leading. Indeed, people who make excuses no longer ask questions. Instead, they are fully self-deceived, making ridiculous statements like, "It's not my fault. Others are responsible for my failures." Readers find reasons to win, while the rest find excuses to lose. Leaders cannot make either $1 million. Leaders can make either $1 million or a million excuses, but they cannot make both. Winners have an attitude that will until victory, accepting no excuse from themselves or others. What separates winners from the rest is that winners refuse to participate in the negativity of the whining, complaining, or excuse making. Coping mechanisms like blaming, excuse making, and finger pointing avoid the pain of defeat by only avoiding the responsibility to grow and change. By avoiding the pain, in short, one also avoids the motivation necessary to drive real change. Winners hate losing enough to change, while losers hate enough change to lose. Winners hate losing enough to change, while losers hate enough change to lose. People with positive attitude understand that temporary defeats are just lessons on the success journey. Winners realize setbacks are the stepping stones to advancement. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is going from one failure to another with no loss in enthusiasm." It's time to do a personal checkup from the neck up. It's time to start pulling weeds, turning down the negative voices, and launching reading, listening, associating, and acting program to restore your mental garden. Develop a thankful spirit. Another key to restoring attitude is to focus on one's blessing. It's hard to have a negative attitude when a person views life through the lens of thankfulness. Conversely, it's hard to have a positive attitude when a person views life through the lens of bitterness. Remember the story of a man who was complaining because he had no shoes. He stops complaining when he saw someone else with no feet. True, at times, a person must deal with negativity, but he doesn't have to swim in it. Rather, he should handle it like garbage, gathering it up, sorting it out, and then throw it away. No matter what, he should never fall into bitterness and resentment. Finding blessings in life because they are always present, in the darkness of times even. Leaders must train themselves to look for light, not live in darkness. When a person chooses to have a thankful spirit, turning habitually to his positive voice, he draws upon a wellspring of options, helping him overcome the challenge that he is sure to meet. Imagination. In this book, Think and Grow Rich, of Napoleon Hill, says that imagination is literally the workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by man. It has been said that a man can create anything while he can imagine. Man's only imagination, within reason, lies in the development and use of his imagination. Ideas are the beginning point of all fortunes. Ideas are product of imagination. Dear friends, learners of success, if you were one of those who believe that hardworking and honest alone will bring riches, perish the thought it's not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based upon the application of definite principles and not by chance or luck. Dear friends, success requires no explanations. May God bless you.